you can find an interesting connection between the initiation ritual to the Illuminati and the initiation into the Skull and Bones Society. Adam Weishaupt wanted to create a new religion to replace all the governments, to infiltrate Freemasonry, to use the schools for indoctrination, and it's fascinating to see how their plans are coming to fruition. So now, the founders of the Skull and Bone Society, one of them, William Taft, was over in Germany his senior year when he was a student at Yale. And so he came back and then founded the Skull and Bone Society in 1832, interestingly enough, with the permission of a German secret society. So a lot of people, and it becomes apparent when you see their goals, their rituals, that they are an extension of the original German Illuminati. And some people broke in, some former, really a rival secret society back in the 1800s, broke into the Skull and Bones headquarters. They literally filed away some of the bars and broke into the windows and went in and looked around, and then they wrote an article about what it was that they had found. And there on the wall was a postcard, and it said, to the American branch from the German branch. So it's very, very interesting that is a major connection between the original Illuminati.
And for people to understand where, the occult rituals come into play, someone back in, I believe it was in the 90s or early 2000s, got on the top of the building next to the quote-unquote tomb. That's what they call the Skull and Bones, place where they go and they have their own little building. If you've seen the skulls, it's similar to that, but that's really a parody of what this is really all about. And they got the nighttime footage, and they are dressed in cloaks, they are alleging to Satan, they are doing mock human sacrifices, they are getting into coffins, and this is all going to be in my upcoming film, Invisible Empire. They played it once on ABC News, and they didn't, they played some of the clips. I would really like the uncensored footage so I could see the entire ritual. You only get about, 30 to 45 seconds of the ritual, but it's very telling what you have to do to get into this secret society.
Well, I want to make a correction. It was William Russell, actually. William Russell was one of the founders. He went to Germany, and Alfonso Taft, who was another one of the members. Gotcha. But yeah, it's fascinating that the media will just play it off like it's a fraternity and it's no big deal, but then they'll never talk about the Bohemian Grove and the fact that they're still doing these bizarre rituals when they're grown men. And we've talked about what it is, what their mindset is, what their...
Really, listen, man, the last time the Bohemian Grove was tackled by anything in the mainstream media ever, and I'm talking about, big 4 channels, really big 3 channels back in the day, 1982.
Yeah.
1982. Why is that? Why has it now been 25 plus years since there has been any kind of an expose on the Bohemian Grove?
What's interesting, too, about the Bilderberg Group, and since they just met a couple weeks ago, it's, people wonder if you're new to this. I know you have a kind of a younger audience, and more people are getting this every day. If there wasn't a conspiracy, and I don't like to use that word, but if there wasn't a planned agenda to omit any mention of the Bilderberg Group from the media, then how is it that year after year after year, it's never mentioned ever in any, especially American papers? Some of the European papers now, and European publications have gotten some of the information out. And I understand if the reporters aren't going to be invited, but isn't it interesting that the media that is supposed to be this watchdog of the elite and of politicians and sort of our eyes and ears, isn't it interesting that year after year they never, ever even mention the fact that the Bilderberg Group is meeting or even speculate what it is that's going on or mention who it is that's there? And then just ask yourself, if you're new to this, that question, if there isn't a planned agenda to omit this, if there isn't this network of gatekeepers placed at key positions in the media, then how is it that they were able to do that? Because at the very least, it's an interesting story. Somebody would cover it. Wow, that's an interesting story. Let's send a reporter there and find out what it is that's going on. It's a very, very telling that the silence is deafening.
Mark, in closing, what do you think the most important thing is to come away with from your material? You know, if someone reads the Resistance Manifesto, they check out the Illuminati Facts and Fiction, they even get, you know, the republished Proofs of a Conspiracy. What do they need to take away from this in a couple-minute segment?
They need to know that by knowing that we have a machine that has been built and designed to destroy you, and by knowing how that machine works and who is operating that machine and how it's designed to financially destroy you, to spiritually destroy you, to socially, to emotionally, to ruin your health, by seeing what it is that we are fighting, you can more easily maneuver yourself, your friends, and your family around it and avoid most of the damages that the other zombies are going to be destroyed by. And I get emails all the time, and that's a fantastic question. What can we do? How can we fight this? Can we win? You will win by minimizing and maybe in some cases eliminating a large portion of the effects of the New World Order on your own life by not being just a total zombie and a slave and a pop culture puppet, by not being a complete immoral scumbag. You know, you can avoid yourself getting into situations that you wouldn't want to. And by, you know, Jesus said it, you know the truth, and the truth will set you free. And that's the main issue. What I want people to walk away from is to understand their enemy and to know how to recognize them, how to learn about the systems that are designed to trap you and ensnare you. And by knowing about it and how it works and who's operating and how the information is getting to you and manipulating society, you can then avoid the pitfalls and you can avoid going with the flow, and you can make your life and your family's life infinitely more enjoyable and pleasurable and safe.
That's right. You can make legitimate, informed decisions about your life and the ones that you love around you. And, you know, we can still combat this. I believe we can win. I wouldn't be in it if I didn't think I could win it, folks. That's the bottom line.